Alright, the third lift I've been asked to teach is the front squat. Now, before the athlete even approaches the bar, the athlete should be able to know how to squat properly using his own body weight. So what we'll do is I'll just go ahead and start with my dad doing a proper body weight squat. Okay, so we're going to start off with our feet shoulder width apart. Okay. Now what we do is ask the athlete to sit the arms up front. Now this creates a partial anterior load, just kind of an offset squat. A lot of times they may have hip issues or ankle mobility issues. This kind of helps them get into that lower position. Okay, so what I have to do is going to ask the athlete to go ahead and squat. Just kind of look at the squat form. Okay, all right, stand up. Now his is okay, but the places that we want to look at for falsities are go ahead and squat. And we want to make sure, stay in this position, we want to make sure the athlete maintains a neutral spine, the head's forward, the chest is up. We don't want any kind of collapsing. If we do, we're going to have some kind of like abdominal wall strength issues, lower back issues, thoracic mobility issues, hip, things like that. But he's in a pretty good position. As you notice, the knees aren't too far ahead of the toes. The quad here is less than 90 degrees. So he's nice and deep, he has decent range of motion, looks nice and solid. Okay, come on, stand up out of that. Very good. All right, so now we're going to ask him to just do about 5 body weight squats. Watch the athlete move through the range of motion, look at any issues. And we also notice how his knees don't deviate inward, they stay nice and strong outward. So he has good external rotator strength. It looks good. Okay. So once the athlete has mastered this technique, they know how to squat properly, they can move to the proper ranges of motion, we don't see any kind of issues, then we can move on to a kettlebell front squat, okay? So now we have the athlete approach it, okay, good. Alright, now we want that anterior load just like it would be for a barbell front squat. This teaches the athlete what it feels like to have that anterior load. Okay, now we're going to ask him to go ahead and have our feet set properly the way he had his body weight squats. Now we're going to make sure we keep the kettlebell nice and high, tight to the body. Okay, grab the horns. There's different ways to grab the kettlebell. This athlete here is comfortable grabbing this way, and that's fine as long as the weight's interior loaded. Okay, we're going to ask him to go ahead and do a squat. Okay, good. All right, come back up. Now I want you to do it slowly. Okay, as we notice, good. Hips seem to come back first, okay? Initially descent. Now here at the bottom position, we still have a good neutral spine. Hips are nice and low. Knees are outward. The knee isn't above the toe. He's got good ankle flexibility here that allows him to do that. Okay, now we're going to come back out of that. Okay, good. And as you notice, as he comes back up through the ascent, there's no collapsing or anything like that. So we're making sure the athlete moves that range of motion properly and strong in it. Again, before we move on to the next. If we have any kind of issues with them collapsing, things like that, maybe we should regress back down to the body weight squats, make sure everything is good. They're still kind of having some little issues here and there, and nothing that's going to be detrimental to the athlete. We keep them here, make sure their range of motion is good, core is strong throughout the entire lift. Okay? Now once he's mastered this, next we move on to the barbell. Okay? Alright. Now the front squat can be sometimes difficult to get into for an athlete, especially if they have any kind of overhead mobility issues. So there's different ways to approach this front squat without having to leave it out entirely in a program, especially if the athlete has mobility issues. First way you can tackle this is ask the athlete to extend the arms as if he was doing a body weight squat. So we kind of get into that front rack position, okay? And we ask him to be comfortable with the bar there. Now all we're doing is we're going to descend into the front squat, okay? Good. As you notice, this here teaches the athlete to make sure the chest is nice and tall, nice and big. We're staying erect throughout the entire range of motion. But we're not messing with the athlete's mobility issues here. We can tackle those later, but we'll make sure we're in squat position. Okay, go ahead, squats. Good. So you notice he's still setting the hips back, he's staying on the heels. There's no deviation in the knees inside. Keeping those wide. Do a couple more for me, please. Good. You're staying nice and tall, coming out of the bottom of the lift. So we've got good core strength there. Okay. Re-rack. Okay. Another great way to tackle this as well. We're going to come ask the athlete to approach the bar. We're going to get in the same position as before, the arms straight. Now all we're going to do is actually cross them. Now this is good if the athlete just doesn't feel comfortable here. This kind of helps the athlete become a little more stable in the lift. So now go ahead and make sure you're good. Chest is big. Make sure the elbows still stay tall, because with the elbows, or the chest will follow the elbows. If the elbows start to dip, the chest will start to dip and crumble underneath the dip. Okay, a couple more for me. So we're still staying nice and erect. Knees are still going out. You still got great range of motion. This is one thing we always want to make sure we look at. Okay, re-rack for me. Okay. Also, still having other issues. Athletes don't feel comfortable with the arms out, crossed. We can always get straps, wrap them around the bar. So now we've got the athlete in the front rack position, but we're not, hurting the athlete's range of motion, lats, triceps, or causing any kind of wrist problems if the athlete does have any wrist problems. So if the athlete's good, no range of motion problems, we're going to ask them to get into a front rack position. Okay. Now here, okay, coming back out of the rack. Now we want to make sure again that you see this athlete has good range of motion in the shoulders, triceps, lats. Don't have any issues in the wrists. So he's able to maintain this elbow at a 90-degree angle to the floor. So now we're going to make sure the chest stays tall. Now, if he feels comfortable, and then ask him to do the squat. Good. Okay, good. Now with here, a lot of times, the athlete doesn't have that core strength. You see those elbows usually dip sometimes, and it can cause that athlete to tip forward. Okay, so the bottom of the lift, make sure the elbows are really tall. Okay, keep those elbows nice and tall. Good. Back up. Good. A couple more. So elbows maintain tall, his spine remains neutral, and we still create great range of motion. Okay, a couple more for me. Good. Xavier, keep those elbows tall. Good. Chest big. All right, one more for me. Good. Fantastic. Animal head wrap. And that was the front squat.